So Japan has effectively entered 1942 in complete control of the Pacific. Now, whether that control would last or not certainly would be decided at places called Midway, Guadalcanal, Wake Island, all the way up to Japan. And we've got a wonderful guest tonight, so we're not going to venture up that way. So I know I'm going to leaving you a little bit half full. Many of you guys were coming here expecting a very nationalistic interpretation of Pearl Harbor. And I say this respectfully that you've had that for 60 years. And there's certainly many sources out there. And our book gives a very good interpretation of that. So that's why, students, I'm trying to give you some other things we didn't cover in the book, but understand that our job as scholars, as historians, and really as citizens, is to question, do the means justify the ends? Were there any other options other than war? And indeed, perhaps that was the only option, but I think we need to continually challenge ourselves not to grab the only option too soon. So I'm not going to take questions right now, which is sort of a nice way to say something and then duck out. I'll be glad to take them afterwards, but we've got a guest here tonight. Mr. Hartman has come here, and he really has a wonderful story to share. And we'd like to have him come up right now. And George, would you kind of come up and kind of facilitate this, sir? Yeah. All right.
Turn around and show you this. This was the name of our airplane, Ain't Misbehaving. And it,
we need to with a microphone. It's a microphone. Do it once again. Turn around. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
This is the name of our airplane, Ain't Misbehaving. And we were shot down on that on our 23rd mission. The airplane itself made 76 sorties over Germany, and we left it there on the 76th mission. Is there anybody here over 62? Over 62? Well, we're going back 68 years, 67 years. Because 68 years ago, 68 years ago is when we were shot down over Germany, and I'll go into that a little bit later. And just tell you what happened, and fill you in on little facts about the B-17 airplane that most people don't know, and I thought it would be nice if, well, I'm still kicking here to fill people in on things like that. It might be of real interest to them.
Robert, could you get the B-17? It's the one on the right. Why don't you have a
By the way, I was a tail gunner. I was supposed to be the ball turret gunner, but the pilot took one with me, and
Go ahead.
we had a little guy in the crew that was about 5'7", and he said, "Dwayne, you're the ball turret gunner, and Hartman, you're the tail gunner." So I ended up the tail gunner on a B-17 bomber. And put it up on a table.
Yeah,
That's the B-17 right there, and I can fill you in on some facts that.
Please go right ahead and just please use that microphone real tight. We all want to hear every word you have, sir.
That's my Cadillac, I forgot, and it's low on oil tonight. I'm a member of the 390th Bomb Group, and before I get started, I would like to tell you that we have a museum in Tucson, Arizona. Anybody ever get to Tucson? How about you get there? In Tucson is the Pima Air Museum, and we have a museum there. And this year, after about 32 years, we had to close down our group because most of us are over 39 now, and we're having a hard time getting around. Our last reunion, we only had like 30-some veterans. Our 390th Bomb Group was part of the 8th Air Force, and to give you some idea, the 390th had B-17s. B-17s, and we had 229 B-17s assigned to our bomb group during our tour of duty. During that tour, the group flew 301 missions. In that 301 missions, we lost 159 bombers, B-17s. We had 649 of our companions that were killed. We had 731 who were prisoners of war. And we had 52 that were what they call escape and evadees. They managed to escape and get back to base. The B-17 was the Flying Fortress. You heard that term, the Flying Fortress? There was quite a bit of competition between the B-17 and the 24. The 24 could fly faster than the B-17, about 10 miles faster. And it could hold more bombs. But it was a very hard plane for pilots to handle at altitude. We were flying at 25 to 28,000 feet in the air, where it was like 40 to 50 degrees below zero, and you had to have a heated suit to survive. And you put on oxygen when you got to 10,000 feet. But we had quite a few arguments with the B-24 guys, and I bumped into a guy in Florida, and he when he found out I was on 17s, he thought that was pretty good. And he was on 24s, and I said, well, how many missions did you get in? He said, 1. They were shot down on their first mission. But the Fortress could take the punishment where the B-24 couldn't, but the B-24 could carry more bombs. That was the thing. And I'm just trying to think of anything else that I can think of.
Well, George, start us off with maybe a little background. Where were you raised in this community, right?
I was born and raised in Muskegon. I think it was over 39 years ago. Matter of fact, it's 89 years ago. And I graduated from the Heights in 1941. My mother didn't believe in guns, but when I went in the service, I made a mistake. I said to the guy, I want to be a gunner. What a mistake that was. What a mistake that was. But we were, well, I was 19 years old. We started, I can go through that. We started through basic training, St. Petersburg, Florida. We were going to live in hotels. When they got there, the hotels were so full that they put us on a golf course that belonged to Jimmy Fox, the baseball player. They had leased his property. That night a hurricane came through. We went to get cots to sleep in. They didn't have any cots. They said, all we got is cardboard for you. In the morning, 500 tents were gone. They had picked up our clothes, so our clothes were saved. From there, I went to gunnery school in Kingman, Arizona, which was an 8 to 10 week course. From there, I ended up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, at a radio school. From radio school, I went back to Florida, and there we had our training, the 3rd Air Force. I was about 3 months in training. Remember this, we were being assembled as a crew. And I never knew until after the war, people don't realize the people young men that we lost that didn't even get to war. In 1943, they lost 2,300 young men trying to learn to fly the B-24 bomber. 2,300 men trying to learn, but they were like 19, 20, 21 years old.